United States senators representing states from all across the United States of America. It is a bipartisan delegation, which will tell you how incredibly important this is for us to see what is going on here in Poland, to hear from leadership here, hear from leadership out of Ukraine, and speak to counterparts in Germany. This invasion of Russia into Ukraine is abhorrent, and we cannot stand for it. So again, this is incredibly important that we are here to show support to our Ukrainian friends, to our Polish hosts, for every partner nation that is engaging in defending Ukraine, providing humanitarian support and lethal aid to the people of Ukraine. The goal is a free and sovereign Ukraine. We want peace, but we want a free and sovereign Ukraine. So with that, we will go ahead and open up immediately for questions. Yes, ma'am.
Senator Ernst, things are continuing to escalate. People here on the ground in Poland feel like they're next, that we're on the brink of World War III. The DIA director recently wrote that Russia will rely more on nuclear threats if the war continues to drag on in Ukraine. What do you want to see the president come back with from this NATO summit coming up?
I believe in peace through strength. We hope that our president believes in peace through strength. This is not a time to be weak. So we need to show resolve. All of the nations need to show resolve. Our guests earlier today brought this into us. This is part of the missile that struck close to the Polish border. President Putin and his generals are testing the resolve of the NATO alliance. So we need to see all of our member nations come together, show strength, to show that we are behind the Ukrainian people and President Zelensky, and that we are going to enable them to come to victory. That's what we want to see in Ukraine, and that's what I hope we hear out of President Biden and the other leaders that will be coming together at this summit.
And just a quick follow-up, you saw the refugees here today. It's a very, very tragic scene. Obviously, we're very concerned about the internally displaced, the millions in Ukraine. Humanitarian aid groups like UNHCR are struggling to reach these people because the humanitarian corridors are not being honored. Do you have a response to that? How can we help? How can the U.S. help with that?
Yes, and it is incredible that we continue on with that humanitarian support. And the United States Congress just approved a package of $14 billion just this last week, which will be part lethal aid, part humanitarian aid. We know that it is getting very difficult to deliver into eastern Ukraine. We know the infrastructure has been damaged, but we will continue to work with the non-governmental organizations and others on the delivery of those supplies. But we do need to find new ways of getting much needed material into Ukraine as quickly as possible. Do we have other questions?
Will the United States try to hold Vladimir Putin accountable for what's going on in Ukraine right now?
I think it's a consensus right here today that yes, President Putin needs to be held accountable. And it's a truly weak man that targets children, elderly, women. Putin is a weak leader. He may be trying to project strength, but he is a weak man when he's going after weak individuals. So we need to hold him accountable for the crimes that he is committing in Ukraine. Like I said, this is abhorrent. It is an illegal war, and he needs to be held accountable.
Do you think this is only going to continue to escalate? I mean, obviously Russia is now targeting Western cities like Lviv because of the increase in military aid leaving from this particular city into Ukraine. Do you think this is just going to keep ratcheting up?
Well, this is exactly why we need to provide the Ukrainians with the military equipment that they have requested. They have the absolute will to fight, and they are fighting well. The only thing inhibiting them is any additional material that will come in to provide for their defense, to push those Russians back. So what we and other partner nations need to do is make sure that we are enabling that activity, making sure that they have the means to defend themselves, and we can do that. We have to expedite what they are requesting, making sure that they have the means to push back for their own free and sovereign country. So we will continue to do that.
So everyone here is on board with sending MiGs to Ukraine?
I think that, yes, the Ukrainians, and while I can't speak for the entire delegation, what I will say, I did lead a letter a week and a half ago which encouraged the delivery of MiGs, and I am hopeful that we as a nation can then backfill the polls with F-16s that we are no longer using. So this is a great cooperative way our nations can work together to ensure the Ukrainians have absolutely what they need to defend their country.
Maybe one more question?
Did you see the situation exactly in the Polish-Ukrainian border?
Did we see the situation?
Have you been there?
We were not on the border, but we did go to the reception center for the refugees. And so we were able to see the women, the children, the elderly people that were residing there, getting respite before they traveled on to other parts of Poland and other nations. It's very difficult to see those images. Many of them are weary. They are tired. We heard from a woman today, Katarina, and she wants to go home. She wants to be at home, but it's not safe for her to be at home with her children. So whatever we can do to make sure that we are caring for these refugees and those that are displaced in Ukraine, we want to do that. And that's why, as Congress, we did pass a humanitarian aid package last week with that lethal aid package. It is dire, and we understand that many of these countries are truly stressed with the number of refugees that are coming out of Ukraine. So whatever we can do, we as a United States want to assist.
And then just really quickly, just to follow up on that, what would you say to the Poles here who look at that and tell me that they're next, that they truly feel every day that they could be that next?
Well, first, let me start by saying we are so grateful to the Poles. We are so grateful for all that they are doing to help Ukraine and the people of Ukraine. And what I would also say is that they are a NATO partner to us. And should Article 5 be triggered, the United States will be there. You can just look around the country and see the men and women in uniform that are here already from the United States that are ready to respond should that be triggered. So yes, we as the United States, we will honor that commitment to NATO. And to our Polish friends, again, we are so extremely grateful, and for every other partner that has stepped up as well.
Thank you guys.
Thank
so
you,
much.
everyone,
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, job. Good job, Jody. Well said.
Very cool. Good job. What we expect we should do.
Yeah.